Hi there, this is Phil with Phil Effects, and going to have a short tutorial for my class on setting up this PepperRig so they can create a simple, basic, well, I call it a static walk cycle. A static walk cycle is where the character essentially is static in place, and the way that you get them to move across the stage is you create a master peg, and you animate the peg in the horizontal, and the rig itself has its own animation that is a walk cycle that is then repeated. So let's go ahead and get started. So to start this off, a couple of things. I got a quick little hand sketch of the basic keyframes and breakdowns that you use in making a walk cycle for 24 frames a second. So I just brought that in as a static image and kind of stuck it up in the corner. And then I created a master peg, and this is on the handout rig that I gave with the class, and this will allow you to animate Pepper across the stage. And so we can start with the rig placed over here, and then let's go through and we can go through the different layers. So initially what you want to do is you want to set Pepper up in a contact pose. And for right now, I'm actually not worried about the arms. For the homework exercise, if you get the legs done, then I'd like to see you animate the arms also, but that's not required. Let's just focus on getting the body and the legs. So Pepper is rigged with deformers, and the easiest way to work with that is you have animate on, and we select the layer we want. So let's start with the right leg, and we click this circle up here so we can see the deformers on it. Now we know we're going to need to animate the body and the left leg, so let's go ahead and show those deformers also. So you click on body, and you click here where you can see multiple ones. So that added the body, and we're going to click left leg and add left leg. So now we can see the left leg, the right leg, and the body all at the same time. And so for our first contact pose, we're going to have the right leg is back. All right, so we want the right leg back, and I'm going to move this up a little bit so we can see that. And we want to put a little bit of a bend in there in the toe. And so we can put the right leg back just a little bit more even, and maybe have somewhat of a bend there. And we want the left leg forward. So the left leg is forward. Now we're going to run into some problems here with this rig, and because the legs aren't necessarily the same length. So what I want to do is we'll go in and stretch things. So we're going to start here and then come down here, and I'm going to stretch that just a little bit, and I don't want to stretch them uneven, so I'm going to stretch this one. So we get stretches on both of those, and the body's in this position. And we have keyframes right here. So we have the right leg, and you want to expand this down because you want keys on everything. So you want keys on this bone, so we hit F6, and the body bone going down, we want F6 and F6. So it's all, you want everything keyed. All right, everything should have a key on it. So left leg bone. All right, forget about the arms. We're not going to worry about the arms, but we want everything else exposed. And so I'm seeing that. So we got keys on everything. All right, so that's the first thing. All right, the next one is we have the down pose. And so we're in frame 1. Let's go to frame 4. And that's our breakdown. And that's where we're in the down phase. All right. And on this phase, what's going to happen is the body is actually going to come down some. All right. It's going to come down in the down position. All right. This is going to come down this way, out that way. We actually need to shorten this just a little bit because we lengthened it, and I want you to shorten this one because we lengthened it, and we come down. So there's our down position. And we can pop between the keyframes by using the comma and the period. So I can go back to here. So I can take a look and see. I'm just hitting comma and period to go backwards and forwards, and I can see what's going on. Oh, and I should have mentioned it. Make sure your animation is set for stop motion keyframe before you do any keys. If you started putting keys and you didn't have that set, delete your keys and go back and set those for stop motion keyframes. So there's our left leg. All right, and so our right leg is going to come down because he came down some. You can see that. You see the position he is there. So we want this to come down to here. All right, and he's going to have some bend in this. And maybe even we need to shorten this just a little bit. Let's take a look and see what we got here. So here, actually, we want that there. And I want to key that. And let's go forward. And probably bring this up just a little bit. And here, I want that actually there. Oops, that's not the wrong place. So let's go here. I want this up here. And I want to key that. Let's make sure that's not. Okay, so that's looking good. So we've succeeded in going from the contact to our first breakdown. All right. So then next we will hit on our passing. Passing is in frame 7. So we go over here to frame 7. And this is a high point. Well, it's not the highest. It's close to the highest. But you can see the head is obviously up higher. So here we want the body to come back up. And commensurately we will have the legs come up. All right. And this leg is going to come down and down this way. And it's going to be somewhat straight, pretty straight. And we're going to have to stretch things a little bit. Remember I said I'm going to have to move things just a touch to get things right. All right. And so this is passing, so he's going to come through here, and this is going to come up like that, and this may even be a little bit longer, and that may be a little bit longer because we stretched them, we shrunk them. You can even get that a little bit more like that. All right, so let's go back. Contact, down, passing, contact, down, passing. All right, and then let's get to the high point. First, let me double check and make sure everything is keyed. That's 6 here. I want key for that. I don't want, when we switch over, I don't want Harmony doing any interpolation on this. So I want these locked down. You want to make sure that you got keys in all of the keyable things in every position. So we go out here from 7, we go up to frame 10. All right, and at frame 10, we're at the high point. So the high point, the body's even just a little bit higher. So he's at his highest point. All right, and I'm going to take this and bring this up some. And take this and bring this up, and now we're going to take this and bring this down so he's on his toe. All right, and this comes like that. We can even bring that out just a little bit. Maybe bring that up just a little bit because he's going to be planting that next. All right. And bounce 6, we do an F6. See what we got here. Bounce 7, F6. So everything is keyed. All right. So that's looking good. So if we just cycle through what we have right here, let's watch this. You can see that's actually playing quite well for a static walk cycle. Now I've only done half the cycle, and I'll let the class finish the rest of the cycle. But you basically repeat everything that I just did. All right. And just a couple of the keys to make your life a whole lot easier in working with this is the first thing I did is, as I added each of these controls, I went over here and I used this button up here with the 2 circles that allows you to see multiple controls at once. And it's really important to be able to do that, because you got to see one relative to the other. And as you add the rest of these in a cycle, so we'll go up here to 10. So we go to 13, 16, 19, 20, and 22. All right. You will not put in 25. All right. So we stop at 22. And then if you follow the tutorial that I actually just posted this morning on looping, you're going to grab from frame 1 up to frame 24. And you will grab that and you will just loop it. And then when you loop that, you will have a loop of Pepper here doing a complete walk cycle. And now that it's doing a complete walk cycle, then all you need to do is take the master peg and put a horizontal movement this direction to have Pepper then walking across the stage. So that's basically the nuts and bolts of today's assignment. And for other people who aren't taking the class, it gives you a really quick and easy way to take a rig like this that's built with deformers, work with the legs and work with your key poses, and then break everything down. Now to clean it up, to finalize this, what you would do is you then would want to have interpolation on everything. So what you would do is you'd open this all up and you would take all of the animations, and let me just shift and hold and go through here, select all of these. I'm holding the wrong key down. Okay, there we go. And right click on here, and the mouse comes up, and we want to set these to motion keyframes. So we set that to motion keyframes, and now we have interpolation in here. And if we play this, you don't have the stopping, but you have interpolated motion in between. And so this is a lot smoother. I'm not saying this is finalized, as I would need to go through and probably clean this up just a little bit, especially if I wanted to work on hang time and look at some of my easing in and out. But this, working with the stop motion animation to set up your breakdowns and your keyframes initially, makes life so much easier. So you start with the stop motion animation, make sure your timing is set, make sure your key poses are set, then you can go in and change everything. And the other thing actually I'd recommend doing is, right before you changed everything to a motion keyframe, do a save as. Go up in Harmony and do a save as, and save that version of your animation as pre-converting to motion keyframes. All right, so then you can always go back to your stop motion keyframes on your initial timing if you have to. So this has been Phil with PhilFX, and have yourself a great day.